Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightning Ball channel. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so and activate the notification bell. Your support fuels my continued efforts. In our previous episode, we talked about the story of Primordial Red Gi Crimson. Primordial Demons is a group of characters that has been very successfully portrayed in the TenSura novel. They each have distinct personalities, such as the unconventionally behaving Primordial Black Diablo, the beautiful and elegant Primordial White Testarossa, and the hot-tempered Primordial Yellow Carrera. In this episode, we shift our focus to Primordial Blue Rain. In fact, the main content of TenSura's 17th volume is divided into two parts. The first part details Valgrine's quest for Rudra's soul across different worlds, highlighting her adventures and her efforts to eliminate the invading Spectre army. It was during this journey that Korna's subordinates and army were wiped out, rendering him a leader without a force and explaining a foreshadowing element in the story. We might delve into this content later if time permits, but for now, we will skip it to expedite our entry into the Tenma Great War. The second part is narrated from Primordial Blue Rain's perspective, outlining the development of TenSura's central world, the history of the Walpurgis banquet, and the various world powers as seen through Rain's eyes. Serving for a long time as a maid to the oldest demon lord Gi, Rain knew many intriguing stories about the world and the demon lords. Her character also starkly contrasts with her status. Let's get started. Primordial Blue, appearing as a beautiful lady, is in fact very mischievous and prone to causing trouble, leading to numerous mistakes. Her first error was convincing her close friend, Primordial Green, to challenge the strongest, Primordial Red. The outcome was beyond their expectation as Primordial Red effortlessly destroyed the cores of Primordial Blue and Green, making them his subordinates. However, in Rain's view, this act was akin to a heroic sacrifice for the sake of an experiment. Unlike most demons whose core's destruction leads to obliteration, Primordial demons uniquely possess immortality. They resurrect with all past memories intact, albeit as subordinates to those who defeated them, unlike true dragons who, while not becoming anyone's subordinate, lose part of their memories after resurrection. This incident led to a cessation of hostilities among the other primordial demons, especially Testarossa, Carrera, and Ultima, significantly altering the balance among them and giving rise to a twisted equilibrium. And so, Rain shamelessly spinned her failure as a self-sacrifice for the sake of experimentation. Because of this so-called spirit of self-sacrifice, Primordial Blue and Primordial Green became subordinates to Primordial Red, underwent incarnation, and were named Rain and Misery. Gi told them they could live as they wished. However, both Primordial Blue and Primordial Green were competitive and always wanted to come out on top. Thus, becoming subordinates to the strongest Primordial Red Gi seemed like a favorable choice to them. Compared to the mischievous Rain, Misery's admiration and respect for Gi were more heartfelt, placing Rain at a disadvantage in the bootlicking department. Despite knowing Misery's feelings were genuine, Rain couldn't help feeling a bit disgruntled. In terms of work, besides her duties as a maid, Misery also helped Gi with part of the world's management work, especially overseeing the Western countries. As we saw in episode 27, Misery's supporters worship her like a deity. Rain's tasks, however, mainly focused on household chores. To afford herself some laziness, the clever Rain trained her subordinates and followers to form a team of butlers, hence we saw demons of the red and green factions were active in human society. But blue demons were rare because they were busy doing household chores for Rain. But Rain's work wasn't just about laundry. Rain and Misery aspired to be all-around maids, excelling in singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, art, and cooking. It's worth mentioning that Rain's forte was painting. She created many portraits for Gi and Velzard, receiving much praise. Misery wasn't so lucky. The portraits Rain painted for her were mostly abstract, incomprehensible to Misery, who always had to suppress her irritation but was helpless against her sister. Rain and Misery had a very important role, particularly during the Walpurgis, the gathering of demon lords, where Rain served as the guide. The original concept of Walpurgis was truly a simple gathering where three demon lords, Gi, Milim, and Ramaris, would joyously dine together. Rain was well aware of Melim's formidable power. During Guy's battle with a rampaging Melim, Velzard, Rain, and Misery were tasked with containing the spread of the battle's aftermath of destruction. When Guy seemed to be at a disadvantage, Ramiris timely intervened, turning the tide and restoring Melim to her senses. For this reason, Guy, Rain, and Misery were deeply grateful to Ramiris. So, when these three great figures came together, Rain and Misery were sincerely dedicated to preparing the meal. However, over time, as the number of demon lords gradually increased, Walpurgis evolved beyond a mere banquet. De Gruel was the fourth to become a demon lord. In Rain's view, the most deeply affected by the Melim's rampage was de Gruel, emotionally speaking. The battle had turned de Gruel's dominion into a barren wasteland. Although most of the giant race could still survive in such harsh conditions thanks to their magic power, the desertification was irreversible. But these matters were somewhat distant from Rain's immediate concerns, though she silently prayed de Gruel in her heart. The next to ascend to demon lord status was Luminous, the Queen of Nightmares. Rain both adored and feared Luminous' power. However, Rain was even more terrified of Luminous' father and creator, the divine ancestor, Twilight Valentine. In Rain's ranking, Twilight Valentine was listed right after Guy as an untouchable entity back then. The reason was straightforward. Aside from his immense strength, Twilight Valentine was a certified lunatic. Twilight Valentine, created by the creator god Veldonava and regarded as the human progenitor, was tasked with fostering terrestrial civilization's prosperity to enhance species diversity. Despite the initiative, the project consistently faltered. The primary reason was that procreation aimed at prolonging species' lifespan was unnecessary during an era where both angels and demons were immortal and genderless, postponing the emergence of fertile races for tens of thousands of years. Yet Valentine did not relent. To meet Veldonava's expectations, he embarked on forbidden experiments, creating two races, high humans and vampires, by analyzing his own body. The human beings who summoned Guy to this world were the high humans crafted by Valentine. However, each race bore its flaws. High humans possessed immense magical power but developed psychological issues, considering themselves the pinnacle of biological evolution, leading to their swift demise. As for the majority of vampires, they boasted durable bodies, high magical power, and eternal life, but their activity was confined to darkness, a trait that ensured their survival to the present day. After analyzing his own body further, Twilight Valentine embarked on a new round of experiments that even Rain found horrifying, materializing elementals into physical beings. Through Valentine's relentless efforts, elementals, upon accumulating magicules, received their own bodies, enabling them to survive in this world. Thus, earth elementals became high dwarves, water elementals turned into siren, fire elementals transformed into Enki, and wind elementals evolved into high elves. However, Valentine's experiments grew increasingly perverse as he crossbred these newly born races, creating more life-limited species, which deeply disgusted Rain. While there were successful outcomes like the Oni, dwarves, and orcs, some later became goblin-like monsters, and the failures were discarded. Even Guy was troubled by these developments. But since Veldonava did not intervene and Valentine's actions indeed diversified species, they could only accept the situation despite their concerns. Seeing Guy worried, Rain, while outwardly loyal, felt immense satisfaction inside. The ultimate fate of Twilight Valentine was to be killed by what he considered his greatest creation, Luminous Valentine, which remains one of Luminous' secrets. The sixth to become a demon lord was Dino. Rain had a particular distaste for serving Dino, viewing him as the epitome of laziness and uselessness. Dino not only shirked his responsibilities but also dumped all his work on Rain. When Rain once inquired why Dino pushed his tasks onto her rather than Misery, Dino candidly replied that Misery had a temper and would scold, whereas Rain would not. This left Rain speechless, feeling seemingly less formidable than Misery. Despite being often scolded by Misery herself, Rain was frustrated by Dino's insinuation that she, like him, enjoyed laziness. Thus, with the addition of 6 demon lords, Walpurgis became akin to a work reporting session, where every demon lord was burdened with an array of tasks. Guy was swamped with managing human societies, and Misery was doing her best to assist. This gave Rain an opportunity to slack off, as her responsibilities were limited to household tasks, which were carried out by her subordinates. Despite appearing busy, Rain was indeed skiving off. Meline had to intervene in human wars to prevent conflicts or issue sanctions, and also deal with large monsters beyond human control. Although Ramiris had no official duties, Rain respected her for her help and considered her deserving of respect. Rain admired de Groot for his reliable presence and his efforts to slow desertification. Luminous earned Rain's utmost respect. Unlike her twisted father, Twilight Valentine, Luminous established her own vampire faction and ingeniously provided protection to the powerless new humans. Vampires, traditionally predators of humans, were now tasked with protecting them, a feat Rain found commendable. In stark contrast to the previous 5, Rain saw Dino as utterly useless, showing no ambition or progress, impervious to any form of ridicule, which Rain found particularly vexing. Clearly, 6 demon lords were insufficient, so the recruitment continued. An interesting story during this period was when Luminous, due to her beautiful appearance, often faced underestimation from arrogant individuals. Reaching her limit, Luminous chose to demonstrate her strength forcefully. Afterward, she decided to withdraw into the background, replaced by her subordinate Roy Valentine with a fiercely looking. Thus, a new era began, where individuals with power could proclaim themselves as demon lords. The purpose of Walpurgis shifted to being an opportunity for establishing agreements among demon lords, provided at least 3 agreed to convene. With this premise, the turnover of old and new demon lords continued, leading to the appearance of the adorable slime, Demon Lord Rimuru. Rain didn't know back then that she would become a faithful fan of Rimuru-Sama. Rain first encountered Rimuru at the Walpurgis convened by Clayman. Speaking of Clayman, even Rain had to admire him, despite his significantly weaker strength, for daring to claim the title of Demon Lord. However, Clayman had his merits in Rain's eyes, as he would willingly undertake troublesome tasks with a bit of instigation, proving unexpectedly obedient and convenient. Yet Clayman's end was tragic, a result of his foolishness and complete lack of awareness regarding his own and his opponent's strengths. Misery, tasked with greeting Rimuru, predicted Clayman's imminent downfall upon her return, which indeed transpired as she had foreseen. However, what intrigued Rain and Misery most in this conflict was not Clayman but Ramiris's subordinate, Beretta, a black demon. Misery also sensed the aura of Primordial Black Diablo en route to greet Rimuru. Rain found it inconceivable that the whimsical and bizarre Diablo would ever serve a master. In Rain's view, although Primordial Black was capricious and odd, he was a force to be reckoned with, capable of matching Guy in combat. Moreover, the battles between Guy and Diablo, seen as mere skirmishes to them, were already beyond the realms Rain and Misery could touch. This incident led to Rain feeling intimidated by Diablo, despite never having actually fought him. We've discussed Rain and Diablo's battle in episode 24, where Rain, recognizing her inherently kind nature, wondered why she had to take such a hard task to confront Diablo. She speculated whether her secret indulgence in Misery's snacks had somehow led to this task as a form of retribution. Although Rain managed to shift the blame to her subordinates, she couldn't help but suspect Misery might have caught on to her. To Rain, Diablo was a peculiar and annoying figure who avoided establishing his own faction, acting on his whims and causing trouble for others. Diablo could materialize at any time if he wished, yet he seemed disinterested in power, maintaining his archdemon status as if mocking the world. We won't delve into the specifics of their combat, but it's worth noting that Rain dared to face Diablo because of her skill-missed ability, a weakened version of parallel existence. Additionally, her mockery of Rimuru during the fight was purely strategic, aimed at provoking Diablo, despite her fondness for the adorable slime. After the battle, learning that the other 3 primordial demon beauties had received names and pledged allegiance to Rimuru left not just Rain but even Guy, who stayed behind the scenes, dumbfounded. Guy, realizing the world's balance was at risk, eagerly sought details. However, Diablo's relentless praise for Rimuru, oblivious to others' feelings, left Rain speechless. Guy and Rain were so inclined to give Diablo a beating and then make their escape. However, given that amidst the endless praises for Rimuru-Sama there were nuggets of crucial information, they had no choice but to endure Diablo's monologue. What left Rain speechless was Diablo's seemingly genuine enthusiasm in his words. In short, Rimuru-Sama, for having disrupted the demonic balance, instilled a deep fear in Rain from the bottom of her heart. Rimuru's status swiftly eclipsed that of the eccentric Diablo, ascending to the top of Rain's list of the most troublesome individuals. Rain decided to adapt to the situation, referring to Rimuru as Rimuru-Sama, and shared her thoughts with Misery. Surprisingly, Misery and Rain found themselves in complete agreement. Misery cautioned that the one who needed to control their competitive spirit was Rain herself, recalling their challenge to Guy instigated by Rain. Rain admitted that she was impulsive in her youth but had since matured, vowing not to make the same mistake. However, deep down, Rain held immense admiration for Rimuru-Sama, finding it unthinkable that someone could subjugate 4 of the 7 primordial demons. By episode 47, Rimuru-Sama astonished Rain and Misery once again by evolving them into Devil Lords, an act not even their master Guy had achieved. This visit profoundly transformed Rain's perception of Rimuru-Sama. Firstly, Rain noticed similarities between Rimuru and Guy, especially in their reactions to certain situations and their shared exasperation with Diablo, which increased her fondness for Rimuru-Sama. Secondly, the delectable desserts of the Monster Federation made Rain feel inadequate. Thirdly, the moment when Xian struck Diablo on the head for his boastful rant brought Rain and Misery immense satisfaction. Fourthly, Shuna's arrival, which instantly calmed the bickering Xian and Diablo and even gifted Rain with her cookbook, deepened Rain's respect. The most shocking moment for Rain and Misery was when Rimuru instantly evolved them into Devil Lords, breaking the racial barrier and restoring their original strength from Netherland. At this point, Rain's admiration for Rimuru-Sama knew no bounds. Even as Guy's subordinate, Rain was determined to offer her power without hesitation should Rimuru-Sama ever face trouble. Alright, that's all for this video. I hope everyone has gained a deeper understanding of Walpurgis. As mentioned at the start, we'll be skipping the part about Velbrine searching for Rudra's soul fragments for now, and we'll jump directly into reviewing the 18th volume of TenSura in the next episode. We'll shift our focus to Melim, who was absent during Rimuru's battle against the Emperor Rudra. What was the real situation? Additionally, Walpurgis is about to commence, with the demon lords gathering at Guy's castle. The prelude to the Tenma Great War is officially unfolding. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you in the next one.